I made a web scraper that would score eBay sellers based on their profiles. It actually gave him a score. I'm actually so happy that worked. I'll show you how I did this and teach you some tricks so you can make your own web scraping project. Now I decided to do this in my beloved language JavaScript. Actually a fucking pain, so fucking stupid. First I had a mental breakdown. I've imported sellers into the sellers file. I'm losing it. Who set this to 2 spaces? I am not accepting this. Anyone who uses 2 spaces has a mental deficiency. And then after my hissy fit, I installed Puppeteer, which was the tool we can use to get seller data from their profile. Puppeteer allows you to use the DOM API on web pages to extract the data you are looking for. Before we get started, we need to set up a proxy with BrightData, the sponsor of this video. Now, why do we need a proxy? Well, let me show you what happens when we don't use BrightData. So we'll let it take another screenshot, but it tries to verify us because it sees that we're trying to make loads of requests over and over. Thankfully, BrightData has actually saved us from this issue, meaning that we can still continue to scrape the website, which is really, really awesome. Bypassing these blocks allows you to get unlimited access to that juicy data. BrightData's proxy service bypasses these blocks by employing tactics such as IP rotation, capture solving, and browser fingerprinting. In addition, BrightData employs their own Chrome instance, which will save a lot of system resources. And the setup is really simple too. Okay, so for this project we're going to use the web unlocker. So we're going to press get started and we're just going to call this one web scraper. And the great thing about BrightData is you can choose the country that it operates in. So if a website's blocked in a certain country, you can use BrightData to proxy it to another country. In the advanced options, we have the option for asynchronous requests, which will mean that the requests are handled a lot faster. And we also have the option for custom headers and cookies. And once the proxy is created, we'll have all our details here. We've also the option to allow or block certain IPs as well as hosts. You can also limit the amount of money that you're spending each day, so this would be really useful if you don't want to go over a certain amount. BrightData also provides other solutions, so you can choose what is best for your project's needs. So if you're interested, be sure to click the link in the description for $15 free credits with BrightData today. It was time to start scraping seller profiles, getting basic information we can use to score their profile. Remember gentlemen, if you don't have your coffee, you can't program. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to get the amount of items they've sold first of all. So the best thing we can do is get the container, which has a unique class name, and then get the second child. So let's see if that works. Please work. Please. Hey, it actually worked. Okay, this is what we need. And then we basically just need to convert those 3 digits into a number. So what I've essentially done is I've got all the prices on the user's profile and then also counted the items below 5. And then I'll get the percentage of what items they've sold are cheap. Okay guys, I have found a honeypot. So if you don't know what a honeypot is, essentially it's a trick for web scrapers to make it harder to web scrape eBay's website. So they're basically just like intentionally making our lives harder. I'm hoping this just stays the first element, because if that is the case, then we can just skip this specific element. Let's see if that happens. Yep, and that removes it. Perfect. JavaScript promises are going to kill me, because now I need to run this one by one to make sure it goes on each link correctly. I moved on to scraping the average image count on sellers' listings. However, I managed to generate some kind of quantum mechanics observer effect where an element would only appear when observing it in the inspect element. Turns out this was because the element was behind an iframe, so I had to write some extra code to retrieve the iframe first. After this, I moved on to getting data such as how much the seller accepts returns and their postage prices. And once this is done, we can get to the fun part, generating the seller scores. Alright, this is how we get the text content. This huge ass class name will get us the price. Yeah. Wait, we can convert billions to numbers, right? Ah, boom, genius. Not genius, this is a stupid idea, but we're gonna do it anyway. And then it will just add 0 if it doesn't allow postage. Genius. Stupid idea, but it works. Ah, boom. Alright, we got it. Easy. Web scraping's easy. That's gonna be famous last words, isn't it? Not a number, no. We'll just get the text content, split it, and then get the last item, remove the last letter, and then convert it to a number. Hope that made sense. Dang, web scraping is actually kind of complicated. Massive respect to people who do this for a living. Oof. Yeah, that's causing an error, and I don't know why. I'm so lost. I really do not understand what's going on. Okay, so I figured out what's happening, guys. This is crazy. It's actually hilarious what's happening right now to make my program break. What happens is the web scraper scrolls down to the bottom, just about here, just in the right place for this to be in the way. It's trying to click this, but this is in the way, so it ends up clicking this and then changing the page, which obviously breaks the program. It was now time to implement the scoring system. This would generate a score for the seller, as well as any necessary flags. I used a technique known as min-max normalization. I would start by defining weights for each piece of the seller data, which would determine how important it is. A positive weight would mean a higher value improves the score, and a negative weight would mean a higher value worsens the score. I also provided a maximum. For example, the image count could be up to 14 images. However, I set a maximum of 7, as anything above this would be more than enough for an eBay listing. I calculated the seller scores based on the percentage of the maximum the value had reached, multiplied by the weight of the value. Finally, I would normalize this score on a scale of 0 to 100, based on the maximum score a seller could get. And this was the result for the scoring system. This first user, this is like a new user, they've got a new account, they've got a high feedback percentage, but obviously there's not much feedback there. So let's see the score that it gives them. Okay, so it gives a score of 15.9 out of 100, which is reasonable, and then it gives all these flags here, so low active items, low sold items, low feedback, new account, stuff like that. Finally, I worked on the website the user would interface with. Windows just tried to play a fucking TypeScript file. This is like the most ass thing ever. Set summary data as the string loading. Otherwise set it to the response data. It makes no sense. Then we press go and then it gives it a go. Okay, time to style this now. We've got everything. Okay, this is the moment of truth. We're at the home page. We're going to enter in the user's name, the famous user we've been testing this whole time. And we're going to press go. And it's going to take a bit. So I added a fancy loading screen. Oh, it actually worked. Holy shit. It actually gave him a score. So yeah, we get the seller score. We get like any flags that come up. The worst ones will be in red, the better ones. So we got low sold items, low free postage, and then it says how many active items, sold items, etc. they have. So this person has 4 items. They've got good feedback, lots of items sold. So we're going to see what score they get. Yay, we did it, we got it. Okay, cool. So this person got a score of 70 out of 100, which isn't bad considering they only have 4 items. But based on their feedback and their items, it's given them a good score, which is really good to see. I might have been a little overexcited that my code worked, but that's because it usually doesn't. I had a lot of fun with this project and would like to give a big thank you to BrightData for making this video possible. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.